Hi Aries, here's a general look at your solar chart for October 2014. Now, if you've listened to the other video I did about the eclipses, you'll understand better about the eclipses coming up in October. There's going to be two eclipses, and they're not energies like a transiting planetary energy, so much as the energy of change, of shifting gears, of like sort of opening up the gears with the clutch so that we can shift them, okay? Because in astrology, it's not so much about what things are kind of raining down on us and happening to us and we're just sitting there. It's actually how to work with the energies, how to shape them, how to mold them, how to push back at them in a way to get them more into the contouring that we want, or to harness them, and that's always my hope, you know, that somehow or other the information is going to help people to do that. But of course, this is a very, very new area where we are actually talking about something which is vibrational, which we can't actually see, but we can feel it. And very much you Arians have got Uranus in your sign, very much feeling that energy of change, uncertainty. Things aren't stacking up the way they used to, you know, and really having to understand with the input coming in from Pluto from the side, in a way, that actually things are not going to be stacking up the way they used to ever again. This is a huge game-changing moment. Anyway, to get back to the eclipses, so there's more information on this other video, but here is a little bit more. There's a lunar eclipse on October the 8th, 2014, and this is in your sign Aries, bringing potential for new beginnings in important relationships. You may have embarked in that direction of travel with a new relationship at the time of the new moon, which was at the back end of September. Then this is coming in now on October the 8th, the shifting in the gears there, or going to another level, an adjustment. Things are putting the ball in your court, and you have to be honest with yourself, because this is your moment in history anyway, without too much pressure coming on you. But you Arians and every single one of the cardinal signs, whether it's your sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign, you're right at the forefront of this shifting energy as we are going through the time of the great shift on Earth, in fact, which is going on over many, many years. So just to get back to this rather sort of minor thing, which is the lunar eclipse, which indeed can be used in a small way to create huge change. It can indeed. And also the eclipse energy is around for change and for refreshment and for amazing, inspiring things can happen, which have you kind of going, oh, well, I wasn't expecting it to be like that, or whatever, because it's very connected in with Uranus, the planet Uranus. So the more you do your own thing, but first you must understand what your own thing is, Aries, within, and not an ego thing either, understanding what it is, and the more you do it within the parameters of your obligations to the other, you know, how, you know, the boundaries within which you are playing this thing out with the other, the more rewarded you will feel in important relationships, potentially with this eclipse here. So use what you've learned from experience earlier in the year to approach relationships in a new kind of a way, or if you feel a lack there, then make a fresh start with yourself, you know, because our primary relationship is with ourselves. And there's a lot of inner scripting in there to do with how we related to daddy or mummy as well. So the more you can clear that away and get a good, clean, clear, honest relationship with yourself, and step into new things, then you change your signal. You change your signal, your output, and you radiate differently. And it's all vibrational. Trust me, I'm an astrologer. No, I'm only putting your leg there, actually. But I was just looking back at the time when you couldn't say things were vibrational because nobody would have a clue what you were talking about. But in astrology, it is to do with vibration. All of this stuff is to do with vibration. It's vibrational weather forecasting, really. So this will draw to you what you need as you're radiating this different kind of signal on that new signal frequency, okay? Now, this eclipse is strongly influenced by Uranus, as I said, again, the planet that rules frequency, that rules wavelengths, bandwidths, rays, beams, pulsations, whatever you want to call them. It's the planet of huge change, revolution, and awakening. And so this eclipse is very tied into that. I mean, across the wider stage, this could be quite an interesting time, in fact, but we're just talking about you at the moment. So the fresher you feel, the sort of more on the kind of edge of things, maybe you feel like, well, this is a first about whatever it is that's going on, whatever you're up to. Then you know, and it's positive. It's positive, and maybe, you know, positively making an improvement, or positively pushing to the next stage, or positively moving on, in fact, to do with an important relationship. The more benefit you will feel from this eclipse. It could be very much making, you know, new friends, really clicking, really clicking there in a really quite surprising way, which you weren't expecting at all, because there's all this thing about surprise with Uranus, okay? And it's not you alone that's creating this energy, of course, because the energy, we're kind of immersed in a kind of primordial soup of the energy, and sometimes the kind of the streams and the drifting currents come in stronger or not, and it's choppier or it's calmer or whatever it is with this vibrational weather, but the universe will create from it and manifest around you and through you the forces which and conditions which underpin new growth in the area of important relationships, right? Then there's going to be a solar eclipse on October the 23rd in Scorpio conjunct Venus. Again, another very interesting one. And this one will be seen throughout the northern, I think it's North America. You guys in North America are going to catch this one. So yes, and this could be completing your Taurus Scorpio lessons, which started in 2012. So this is, you know, this is kind of a winding up of things, a tying up of things, maybe for some of you. And of course, depending on how much we notice these things, we can take advantage of them. But this is going to be that around property, perhaps, around inheritance issues, or finances, or, you know, some kind of windfall, it could be, or something is due, something is owed, could be by you or to you. So, you know, don't immediately think that, oh, you know, it could be coming to you. It could be pennies in the piggy bank. It could be a moral, you know, paying off of a moral debt. It could be to do with your possessions, to do with your passions as well, to do with your deeper feelings. So it could be to do with any of those things, but this is an eclipse, and it's an eclipse on Venus as well in Scorpio. So it kind of looks pretty good. You know, the potential there is quite kind of yummy and sort of kind of tasty, and you should have sifted through what is of most value to you over the preceding months. Sometimes through adverse situations, you've really had to maybe sometimes pull your belt in, or just been really careful about how thin you spread yourself, perhaps, or maybe it's a different sort of adverse situation. Maybe it's to do with emotional things. Maybe it's to do with anything that really gets your attention because it's kind of touching you more deeply and kind of shaking you up a bit from your core, you see. And this can be, you know, like a wonderful, amazing, sizzly love relationship, or it can be something which is of great value to you that you're trying very much to protect, to hold on to maintain, to improve. So this eclipse is going to very much help that if you use the eclipse energy. And it is anything that's meaningful to you at this stage in your life, and it may be the result of some deeper self-inquiry over the past, but your focus for positive change will continue to be related to the ownership area, the guardianship, the debts due or owed, the moral obligations, the contracts, kind of commitments, and or deep emotional attachments, and this can be a help to you. Now, there's also the grand fire trine, and that one's been going on since late September. This is full of promise, and this will actually coincide at the same time as the lunar eclipse. And it's got a sort of a potentially healing and freeing and a very creative energy, incredibly entrepreneurial, entrepreneurial energy. It's very creative. It's very it's got huge potential, and this is the moment to take a leap of faith. Perhaps take the bull by the horns and go for it, without being too hasty. You Arians, you know, you just got to count to 10, sleep on something. And then in the morning, you kind of know, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So watch the space near October the 8th, as there's this extraordinary energy of change and inspiration afoot there. And this promising configuration in the sky falls within the long-term Uranus-Pluto transit. So, you know, it doesn't come without a bit of a price, because it being on that on that angle, it's all to do with the angle, you know. So it's in that angle, and the angles, it's not the planets themselves actually, it's their angularity that kind of calls the shots. Now, otherwise, what's going on in October? Well, until the 23rd, you'll benefit from the support or contribution of another in close relationships. It's a good time to sort of throw ideas around, to be mulling things over about a relationship maybe, or about a situation there. You and another could be bonding and or doing business together in some way, and there could be a stronger feeling of well, mutual interaction or attraction. Up until the 11th, Mercury is in a very deep area of your chart, and Mercury will go retrograde on the 11th, slowing things down thereafter. But up until the 11th, discussions could reveal deeper insights, depending which area you're delving into. So if you want to get to the sort of bottom line on something, the nitty-gritty, do you want to uncover something, then you can be looking into it now. You can be pondering, you can be weighing the odds on something, okay? It's not a time particularly to be very, very decisive, but if you do come down with a decision or a kind of final feeling on something, then you're very much informed at this time by your intuition. It's very, very strong just now. So really don't do so much of your thinking in your head. Do it more in your heart and your gut. But communications do tend to become rather involved or intense at times. And then, as I say, from the 11th, Mercury retrogrades into Libra, your opposite sign, where again, you know, very much this chiming in with the position of the sun, bouncing ideas around with another, communications, you know, texting like mad or Skyping or whatever it is, and also doing better through an ally or with an ally. Teaming up is very good plan here. very much needing to feel as though you need to be with somebody to bounce ideas around, play with ideas, because you're not certain yourself, or you you just want to you just want to use somebody else as a mirror, really. And this is a great time for sharing and, you know, getting that information that you need, going to the advice giver, the person that's got the gen on something, or indeed somebody coming to you because they think that you are an information giver, a go-between, or a guide. Now, as I say, things will slow down. There could be delays, postponements, you hanging around waiting for an answer on something, or wondering where that message went or letter went, or whatever it is. Okay, and then until the 24th, Venus is strong in her favorite place, and affairs of the heart are very favored. So there's a really strong emphasis on your opposite number area. If you work one-to-one with people, this is good news. But also you could be feeling a closer rapport with, or bonding with, certain other people. Or indeed, if you are doing business with somebody, then that can go a little bit more smoothly, if perhaps subject to delays, it was a nice interaction that you had with the person, you see, from the 11th. But all relationships tend to flow a little bit more easily. It's still on quite a sort of intellectual kind of level, enjoying somebody else's company. But then when Venus moves from the 24th to the end of the month and on into the next month, things could get a little bit more, there's more riding on a relationship there. It's less than casual. And whether that's a relationship which is like a love relationship or a working relationship is not for me to know. Now, until the 26th, Mars is in a very outgoing, expansive part of your chart. Could be getting out and about more and plunging into different types of situations. And you should be doing that, because Mars is in an area of expansion, an area of new horizons and fresh experiences. So this may be the right moment to take a trip, go somewhere you've never been before, sign up to learn something you didn't know, and you really do get a lot out of it under this transit. So if you've already signed up, because this transit has been going on throughout the whole of September, then you will be feeling, you know, like it really is adding to the quality of your life. Or you will realize that it did add to the quality of your life later on. But yeah, and it's a good time to launch a new scheme, an enterprise, a project, an idea, just thinking quite enthusiastically about something, and learning a lot. You'll be on quite a learning curve here. And then Mars moves out of that area there and goes into a more serious area where you've got to take your responsibilities in the world more seriously. But that's for later. And then from the 23rd, it's a gear shifting phase. The Sun moves and goes into the same area that Venus is going to be in, actually. So the Sun and Venus are going to be there again, lighting up this area where, if it's romance, it could be quite sizzly time. But also you feeling your way forwards intuitively, remembering that you're having these eclipses. Indeed, on the 23rd is the solar eclipse, and you're thinking, this is different. Okay, just kind of, you know, nose into the wind, keep calm. You know, it can be a little bit like that, right? But it might be completely different, and you're just thinking, wow, I never thought I'd get on so well with this person. It's great, you know, or with this thing, or this place, or, you know, it could be anything like that. And you could be musing over those sorts of things. Again, answers coming more through intuition rather than intellect, and transition occurring when, through mutual interaction with or challenge from another, your value structure. An instinct tells you which is the right way to go and how to do it. But also, I have to say, this could be a little bit of good news for you financially, or around property, or around resources, or around possessions. It just could be a time there from the 24th on into November, in fact, where that things aren't too bad in that regard there, and you should open yourself and allow those things to come to you there. And this is a time when you could be more appreciated for your own uniqueness, or through activities like art, like creative, other types of creative activities, leisure pursuits, more access to entertainment or the entertainment industry. And you may grow through access to anything which allows you to feel empowered in your own special way. Also, this area highlights pets, you know, animals, children, and romantic partnerships as well. And you Arians born in the middle 10 days or with 15 to 21 degrees rising are going to feel this energy the most in October. And then just to finish, Scorpio, which I mention every month in this very long transit, getting you to slough off the old skin, changing gear where your finances are concerned, property matters are concerned. Your value structure is changing. It's changing now, but you're still stuck with the old contract for a while, whether that's to do with external things like property, possessions, money, or in more internal things on the emotional level within you or the spiritual level. So you've got to work alongside, and you've got to find a way to get some more or to create something which is freeing for you alongside that, because you still need that old structure for a little while. This transit is nearly at a close now. It is coming to its end in well, it's finishing off temporarily on Christmas Eve 2014 this year, and then it for several months it's out of there, but then it pops back in again very briefly, comparatively speaking, in 2015, but it goes just into the latter degrees of Scorpio. So anyway, this is a gear change. This is a real gear change energy. This is a transition house, but it's through obstacles, it's through adverse circumstances around money, finances, property, possessions, anything which you value a lot, which you've sort of got to sweat for. You've got to work for harder. Right, so that can be something or somebody special or a project, whatever it is, whatever life throws at you. And this is making you very, very strong and very savvy, because that's Saturn's job. It's never easy with Saturn, wherever Saturn goes, but you will become more aware over this time frame of what or who you really can trust, or indeed want to trust or invest in. And in the process, having to let go of what you used to think was the highest priority, or what you liked best, or you know, you could never do without, or you wouldn't choose. You might very much be surprised, especially you Arians with Uranus close to your sun sign at the moment. So this change is going to be very gradual with Saturn there. And you Aries born in the last 10 days or born with 19 to 25 degrees of Aries rising are going to feel this energy the most this month. And that's it for October. Quite a long one. Sorry about that. And if you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. They'll throw in a little bit more or take away a little bit. Just pick out the bits that make sense to you and disregard the rest, and I will see you the next time.